It has been a thrilling season for soccer heads all over the globe, but Premier League fans have definitely had the most fun this year. The rivalry between Liverpool and Manchester City got totally explosive, and it pushed this year's title race down to the wire. In today's video, we're going to go over how Liverpool pushed things to the very last day, and what happened next. Let's get into it. First up, neck and neck in the Premier League. Liverpool's been playing like dynamite ever since Jurgen Klopp took over managerial duties for the club in 2015. Klopp took a team that was a shadow of its former self to the top of the world. This awesome new squad has won the super competitive UEFA Champions League, and Liverpool's first Premier League in over 30 years. Every hero's got to have an arch nemesis though, and in Klopp's case, that villain is none other than Pep Guardiola, the 51-year-old manager of Manchester City. Guardiola took over Manchester City in 2016 and has already won 4 Premier League titles in his 6 years at City. Klopp's definitely given him a run for his money though. Both managers have an exciting modern end-to-end style of play that's aggressive and super fun to watch. It has definitely managed to beat out the older generation's park the bus style of play, and we have a feeling managers like Jose Mourinho aren't too happy about that. That's part of the reason why the matchups between Liverpool and Manchester City are some of the most anticipated matches of the year. The rivalry between these two and their clubs has kept soccer fans at the edge of their seats throughout the year. Both teams have a fighting spirit that can take your breath away during play. This year, they managed to bring the season to a nail-biting finish, and fans have Liverpool's relentlessness to thank for that. This is a team that never quits. Next, Liverpool's fighting spirit. Liverpool fans know what we mean. They've had to go through a ton of drama on the field. The Reds have won countless matches by stealing victory from the jaws of failure. Trust us when we say it's a bad idea to bet against this team. They thrive under pressure. They've basically made a habit of beating the odds. Of course, they've got the players for it too. When you've got phenomenal athletes like Mohamed Salah, Sadio Mane, and Virgil van Dijk in your squad, and a manager like Jurgen Klopp orchestrating the action, it's almost easy to come back from behind. That's what Liverpool has proved time and time again. How about an example? Just look back at the 2018-2019 Champions League semifinals. Liverpool were up against FC Barcelona, one of the best teams in the world. Barca managed to thrash Liverpool to a 3-0 defeat in the first leg of the semi-final, and everyone just assumed that the Reds were done for. Coming back from 3 goals behind was impossible. Well, guess what? They came back. Liverpool beat Barcelona by 4 goals in the second leg to win the semi by 4-3 on aggregate. The fans went bonkers. The commentators went crazy, and everyone else just couldn't believe it. Liverpool ended up winning the Champions League that year, and that is why you never count out this team. They're pretty much capable of miracles. They've never lost that incredible spirit either, and we saw it powering the players and the fans. Honestly, the 2021-2022 Premier League seasons have been pretty chaotic. You could tell that the Reds really gave it their all. Now for a showdown scheduled for the penultimate day. This season made it feel like Liverpool and City were battling out every match day. They went head-to-head twice, and both matches ended in 2-2 draws, even though it was one of the most exciting soccer you've ever got to see. Now, it wouldn't be a classic Liverpool comeback story unless they fell behind in some way, and that came pretty early on in the season. At one point, City were at number 1 and a whole 9 points ahead of Liverpool on the table. But the Liverpool squad isn't one to give up. They kept playing consistently and waited for City to slip up. Sure enough, they managed to reduce the gap between them and the top spot to just 1 point. Talk about being neck and neck for the title. It all came down to the second last match day of the season. Number 37, City drew 2-2 with West Ham, and that gave Liverpool the opportunity to push the title race to that last day. Here's how it was set up. If Liverpool won both of their last 2 games and City drew or lost their final game, the title would go to Liverpool. It was a long shot, but Liverpool wasn't about to let even a small chance slip through their fingers. So on match day 37, Liverpool faced off against Southampton. They had to win the game to push the title race to the last day, but it wasn't going to be easy. Sure enough, early in the first half, Southampton's Nathan Redmond scored and took his team ahead. Liverpool were trailing, but if we know anything about Liverpool, it's that you can't ever count them out. The Reds ended up rewarding their fans with 2 goals by Minamino and Matip that ended up winning them the match, and that win took matters to match day 38. The very end of the season, City were ahead by 1 point. If they lost or drew their last game, Liverpool would take the Premier League title for themselves, and it was that win against Southampton that made it all possible. It was a real nerve-wracker of a title race. Now for the final day. Ultimately though, Liverpool weren't able to take it home. City beat Aston Villa in their last game, though not without some drama. The Blues had to come back from 2 goals behind to win. It was a sad day for Liverpool, but we're sure they'll be back stronger than ever next season. This is the team that never quits after all. Next in other news, Manchester City has signed Erling Haaland. As if their squad wasn't stacked enough, Manchester City have added another mega talent to their team. The Norwegian wonder kid Erling Haaland is headed to England. The moves got City rivals sweating because this 21-year-old is all-star material. He scored 85 goals in 88 games for Borussia Dortmund, averaging almost 1 goal per game. That's insane for such a young player. He's joining Manchester City on the 1st of July 2022, off of a €60 million transfer deal. Here's a fun fact. Haaland's father used to play for Manchester City between 2000 and 2003, so this move marks a return for the Haaland family to the club. Now, we don't know about you, but the thought of seeing Haaland play with City is super exciting. We can already see him heading one of Kevin De Bruyne's sweet crosses crosses into goal. Next year is looking pretty promising for the City fans. And now Real Madrid win the Champions League for the 14th time. It feels like Real Madrid always finds a way when it comes to winning the Champions League. This year they beat big teams like Manchester City, Chelsea, and Paris Saint-Germain on their way to the final with Liverpool, which they also won. The final took place on the 29th of May, after some rowdy crowds caused a 35-minute delay, and it continued Real's winning streak. Just one goal by Vinicius Jr. was enough to push the legendary Los Blancos over the finish line to win a 14th Champions League final. That's definitely breaking some kind of record, and it's allowed Real to crown themselves as the best in Europe once again. It just doesn't look like anyone can stop this superstar team from their hold over this tournament. Next up, AC Milan wins Serie A on the final day. The Premier League isn't the only championship getting some final day drama. AC Milan won the Serie A title by beating Sassuolo 3-0 on the final day of the season. This is the first time in 11 years that Milan has won the Italian title, and it was no mean feat. They needed a single point to clinch things, and Frank Kessie in the first half gave them more than enough to win. The final whistle came with a ton of emotion for the team. All the fans in the stadium let out a massive roar while the full Milan squad ran out onto the field to congratulate the winning 11. This is the first time manager Stefano Pioli has won a major trophy, and his team definitely worked hard for this one. This was definitely a hard-fought season, but Milan earned the win. And finally, Lewandowski wants to leave Bayern Munich. If there's one thing that Bayern Munich fans can agree on, it's that they'll probably never see a striker as great as Robert Lewandowski. The man is a legend in German football, but if you're a Bayern fan, it's begun to look like the end of another era. Lewandowski's tenure with the Munich team is coming to an end, and it looks like it's the player himself who wants to leave. He has said in interviews that his story with Bayern has come to an end, but the higher-ups at Bayern Munich apparently want him to finish his contract. It looks like they're not going to make leaving easy for the striker, since there's still a whole year left in the contract. That said, Lewandowski could still leave during the summer, since Barcelona are reportedly interested in signing him. Well, that's a wrap for this video. See you in the next one!